What's going on, guys? For another episode of Fate Extra Last Encore review. However, this time we're going to do with our own SippyVA. Sloan, unfortunately, is going through some health issues. So we're going to go internal, and we're going to talk about it with Sippy, who's been super excited about this season so far. So how you doing, man?
I'm totally excited, dude. I mean, these last few episodes were just blast, and I've been wanting to talk to somebody about him. So. Oh
yeah, well there you go. It's a perfect opportunity. So as you guys know, we did this last week, so it's just a lot of crazy things going on. But with the horrible stream and all that jazz, but you can see another video for my rant horrible. On that. But yeah, no. So I went ahead and watched both episodes back to back. So you're going to see us talk about episode 7 and episode 8.
Yes, episode 7, the one where Shaft pretty much recycled its themes of Madoka Magica.
A little bit, yeah. Let's get into it a little bit, because, you know, as you kind of know, like, for those who may not know, in the game, Nursery Rhyme is actually a pretty tragic character. Like, in episode 6, they kind of go over the fact that, you know, they explain how everything works, how she's a ghost and all that. But in the game, we didn't get that. We thought that whole time that she was just a regular servant, so it hit a lot harder. So now that they got that out the way, they freaking decide to turn up the despair meter to 11. And
as they do. This is Shaft, after all.
But yeah, no, you were saying the crushing sadness and despair.
Oh, yeah. I mean, from the start of the episode, we see, well, pretty much Nursery Rhyme is saying her final goodbyes to what appears to be Hakuno. And then as soon as he's out the building, she notices some changes. Like, there were some interactions with Rin and this one other girl who was Shinji's girlfriend, I think?
Yep.
Yeah, and sooner or later, she just starts collecting all these certain pieces and then just turning them into one of those 3D model compound elements stuff. I'm not really sure what it was.
Yeah,
but then you see afterwards that her arm just grows a branch. I'm like, what?
I thought she was holding a branch for a while. So wait, that's her arm? Oh
no.
And
no.
And then, you know, when she finds the other masters, you see it's like, oh no, she's the monster from the last episode. Oh,
exactly.
No.
And her like head is just like hanging like in a loop, and then these like, I don't know, these little Muppet creatures just pop out from behind her and just sing like Ring Around the Rosies in such a grotesque fashion. I'm never looking at that song the same way ever again. Thank you very much.
I never did, and I just made it worse. Just like, oh jeez.
Exactly.
Yeah, no, so I was sad. I was still like, well, all right. So here comes Madoka Magica, full blast, and you know, at a certain point, when Rin, Hakuno, and Nero face off against this monster, it's sad, and then all of a sudden, freaking Rin just decides like, okay, I can turn it to Kuholin. I'm like, wait, what? This is like, gets a red version of Kuholin's outfit, has Gay Bulk, and then just is wailing on this thing. And I'm like, that explains what happened in episode 3, I guess, when she
basically, I mean, it just explains a lot. Mm-hmm. And given the fact that her servant was Kukulon back in the first Fate Extra game, it kind of makes sense, but even so, we're still in the unknown, trying to figure out how and why this happened to her. I mean, why is she a demi-servant now?
Right, exactly. We already know that it's been quite a long time, 1,000 years since 2030.
999 to be exact.
Exactly. So it's been a long time, and a lot of things can change, especially with the concept of an afterlife is not a thing.
Pretty much non-existent according to Seraph.
Exactly. So in this, you know, Tosaka tries to block an attack. This is before she goes into Kuholin mode. And then, you know, Hakuno hears his voice like, so you want to save her. So then let me show you the real form. I'm thinking she's talking about Tosaka. And then you see a little girl, bandaged up and bloodied, censored, depending on which version you watched. and hooked up to many different multicolored vials, and it's like, okay.
I mean, if you actually seen like Hunter x Hunter, like the aftermath of Gon and Pito, that's pretty much just like that.
Exactly that. And you see her servant, Nursery Rhyme, who is not as jovial as she is in Fate Grand Order. Most people...
She's pretty mellowed down. I was surprised.
Yeah, I mean, she was kind of mellowed down in Fate Extra too. But, you know, she definitely grew her own personality in Fate Grand Order, as that game has tendency to do, expands on servants in different ways.
Well, probably it's because her Sangraph kind of like adapted to that, and she kind of like took on the persona that Alice used to be, her master.
Correct.
So she's kind of like carrying on her legacy in a way.
Yeah, in a sense, yeah, because, I mean, going back to people in London, spoilers really quickly, for those who have not beat London. So when Nursery Rhyme appears, she mentions Alice. It's like, where's Alice? I'm not supposed to be here. And it's like, oh man, you guys just can't catch a break.
Absolutely.
So, you know, he goes through this and he realizes that even if he doesn't necessarily remember why he's there, like, he knows that's important, and now they know that everyone there is dead except for that monster, which we now know is Alice. Pretty much. And
then it comes all the way back to the final battle in which Nero comes in, the sword blazing, Rin coming in full Kukulon tights. And just so you know, I'm not going to spoil this because I want everybody to actually see this and experience this. But if you actually look at the battle between Rin and Alice in monster form, look at the shadows beneath them. You will be in for quite a shock. Also, yeah, I don't want to spoil it because I want everybody to experience this.
Yeah, also, like, what is it? Oh, yeah, Nero continuing to rack up her one-strike motif. Like, one strike is over. Dead. I'm like, oh... No, Alice's body is just crumbling. She was in tears.
And the fact that she's actually just crying when she sees Hakuno with the book. I'm like, no, don't do this to me. God damn it.
God damn it. And then the ending credits, you don't even get the actual credits. You get it played over the scene, which is like, man, this is pretty important.
I mean, that's just another jab into my heart. Why, Shaft? Why?
To be fair, it is the halfway point, because I believe it's going to be 14 episodes, so I guess they figured, like, well, now things are going to get real crazy from here, and they certainly do with the next episode.
Episode 8. There we go.
Yeah, so they open up like they did similarly. They kind of go into a battle already.
But not before some little warm-ups within the Angelica cage.
Yeah, exactly.
Having some little cute moments with Nero. I mean, because we all need that.
Yeah, we did need it after all that nonsense. Kind of needed that. But it did show a flash of what was going to happen. So I was like, okay, well, is this person? I know this person. And real quick, in the beginning, I felt that, you know, you didn't need to play extra to kind of know, to jump into this. More and more, I'm starting to see that there's so many nods and homages to the original game. I'm kind of turning my back on that opinion. Because, yeah, you could watch this and you can get it just fine because they do... It's exposition, the anime. Shaft's really good about exposition. But if you didn't play this, like, this wouldn't... Any of the things that happened wouldn't hit you nowhere near as hard. Like, you wouldn't be intimate with Nursery Rhyme. You wouldn't have been intimate with Drake or Robin Hood, or how different Blackmore was, or how different this character in this episode is. Like, they give you brief glimpses, so you're like, all right, this is the understanding. But if you played it, you felt it. It's like, God.
Yeah, there's actually a difference between those who haven't played it to those who actually have. And so that being is that you get a clear feel for those characters when you play the game the first time. But then once they're reintroduced into this new anime, and those who have played the game are going through it, they get to this, well, how do I say, you feel more for the character that they've suffered this much after the course of 999 years.
Mm-hmm.
And you've seen the effect it's done to these beloved characters, whether beloved or hated, and see what kind of effect this long wait has had on them. What toll has it taken upon their psyche, their servants, and upon their very humanity?
Mm-hmm, exactly. So, I mean, yeah, but definitely cute moments with Nero here, and continuing, like, the whole fact of her, like, they brought up her original master, which harkens back to the first episode where she faced off against the I won't say who, but the final boss of Extra. He gets bodied real hard, and you
pretty much a curb stomp battle.
Oh yeah, and you see Hakuno leaning against
against the wall, and it's like she's pretty much
dying almost,
a paraplegic now.
Mm-hmm. So yeah, no, Nero says, yeah, no, that's my original master. And at first I was like, oh my god, she's been reincarnated, like, because you two are very similar. And he's like, no, that's not it. And as they've been slowly building up, yeah, he's not a reincarnation, at least. Well, we'll get to that later, but you know, he goes into more of dead face. They've explained a lot of dead face these last few episodes, exactly what it is. And he's essentially a wraith filled with vengeance and hatred, who hates the living. And it's like, well,
so it's kind of like a mini Avenger in a way.
Exactly. It is almost like, it seems like it takes on all of his previous deaths, his previous lives,
and turns all of that hatred into power.
Mm-hmm.
And that's because, I mean, that's how he gets like all the super strength, all the super speed, and well, that little curve stomp battle with Dan Blackmore, if that's any evidence enough.
Oh yeah, exactly. And you know, Nero keeps exclaiming that, you know, it doesn't matter because you're my master, I care for you, and everything else. And you see a bit like, you know, Hakuno might not be feeling that, but you know, Rin was there, and Rin's always there to break tension. So they're about to go into the battle. They see the servant,
and Julius.
And Julius, who appears above them. It's like, okay, they weren't expecting that, and the attack is instantly on. And Julius is like, "I know you. You're here," like, and starts going all in on him, calling him by her full name, saying it like, why are you here? Like, now I need to finally get my vengeance on you. And you see the corruption on him and on his servant, as you saw in previous. So this servant,
if I'm actually correct, mm-hmm. You actually get to fight Julius and his servant twice, right? First as the assassin form, and then afterwards as a berserker, right?
I believe so.
Because I remember, like, there was some part about like him being corrupted after the first battle, and then you have to put him out of his misery. I'm not really sure.
Yeah, something to that effect. But it seems like they're going all in on the corruption part. And I mean, we've seen previously that servants that weren't normally berserkers can be corrupted or hacked into being berserkers now.
That is true. That is true, as Shinji explained.
Exactly. So, and that's exactly what Lee Shu-in here is. And if you didn't know that, well, it's Lee Shu-in. I mean, he kind of explained it in what his noble phantasm was in One Strike. And yeah, no, they proceed to... Julius goes really, like, beating the crap out of Hakuno while Nero fights off against this berserker Lee Shu-in. And then, you know, Rin comes in, saves the day. Is like, all right, I got this. You know, this is just saving you here. It's like, oh, actually, why don't you fight him? I'm going to go save my master. Wait, what? What?
Exactly. But you know what? So it's actually a good thing, because we actually get to see a good look at Rin's new costume, mm-hmm. which was what we only got just a simple glimpse over by episode 7. So, honestly, she looks pretty damn awesome.
I like that a lot. It seems like they took the idea of Rin being an archer's outfit, but now applying it to Kukulkan's, and it's like, yeah, I'm good with this. This looks good.
Yep. As they say, the perfect thighs meets the perfect tights.
Man, you ain't never lied. So, yeah, though, we're going in, and Julius is just essentially attacking Hakuno's character. Hakuno gets mad, activates Dead Face,
But what do you know? He's another dead face.
Yeah, Julius is also dead face, which makes sense.
Well, naturally, it's a dead face bargain sale.
Mm-hmm. And he hates Hakuno enough to do that. We go into more backstory, go into more of this. He literally grabs Hakuno's heart. He's like, oh yeah, I forgot. You're just like me. He's going to take more than this to kill you. Nero comes. He deactivates Dead Face. And, you know, the two battles once again collide. Unfortunately, Nero doesn't last too much longer after she did take that full-on blast from Li Shuwen defending her master.
And of course, Rin is down for the count as well.
Yep.
She just came in through a wall, and she's like, okay, you know what? Screw this. I can't do it.
He's like, yep, there you go. I tried my best.
Exactly. And then before you know it, you see Nero spitting blood, and I'm like, oh god, no.
Yep. I guess Third Setting Sun is not active this time. So she's on the ground bleeding. Hakuno's on the ground bleeding, and it's really.
But then, before you know it, Deus Ex Machina.
In a sense, because they cut the credits on you, and you know, Hakuno is walking in. It looks like
no, that's not what I meant. I meant like Lu Bu just coming out of nowhere.
Oh, yeah. There you go. Okay. My bad. You're totally right.
It's okay. But yeah, it just comes out of nowhere. This huge fist in full-plated armor just comes crashing down on Julius and Li Shuwen, and you get a bit of a glimpse, but a lot of people are suspecting that it could be Ronnie. But even so, that does not kind of add up, because back on the second floor, she made it clear that she was not going to leave the side of those who died on that floor.
But it could be another version of her. As she had multiple of her down there, who's to say that was actually her?
That is true. That is definitely true. But even so, it kind of got me a little bit worried about it. I'm not really sure. I'm just, a stickler for continuity and such.
Right. We'll see what they do. Well, they definitely had to do something to get them out of this pickle, because this is a hard battle. And,
exactly.
And as you see, it was worn on everyone involved. But yeah, after the credits, as they do, they usually have a nice little stinger. And they're going in where, Hakuno once again is like, all I know is hatred. This is all I am. And Nero's trying to give comforting words, and it's very sweet, very loving tone, and Hakuno's having none of that. You see a bright white light shining down in the middle of this dark pool, and he just walks right by it. And, you kind of see, I thought they were tears. I could be totally wrong, but it seemed like when she walked by, it kind of felt like droplets dropping into the water. He then finds himself in front of a door. He walks in the door. It's a room plate with a projector, old school projector. You hear the projector in. Kind of observes.
Yeah, like the ones that they use in high schools and such.
Exactly. So he walks in and he hears a voice. It's like, why don't you have a seat? You turn and it's the female outline. That is totally the female Hakuno. So it's
exactly. Well, we have something to look forward to next episode. And plus, she's now fully voiced.
Exactly. You have a voice now. Congratulations. Add to the list. Oh, man. And it leaves me with so many questions. Well, what now? What is this? Are we inside the consciousness? Is she still alive? Is she not alive? What is happening?
I mean, is she going to fuse with this Hakuno? Is she gonna give him advice or something as his predecessor? Is something gonna happen? He's gonna miraculously come back from the dead? In fact, what I'm actually looking forward to sometime soon, since this is going to be a tough battle, I was wondering, hopefully, that they actually get to introduce Nero's noble phantasm.
Yeah, because so far they've been kind of doing the one strike thing. It's yeah, I get it, but that's totally not a noble phantasm. That's not it. You have not summoned the Golden Theater once yet, but I guess they're saving that for a climactic battle.
I mean, I would probably guess that it's probably saved for Gwen, or probably for the last boss. I'm not going to spoil it.
Yeah.
But even so, what we've pretty much grasped of Nero's abilities pretty much certain skills that were introduced in Fate Grand Order, like Imperial Privilege, and of course, Thrice Setting Sun.
It's crazy. I like how they integrate all of these skills, and like that we haven't really seen in anime form. Like, you know, they kind of talked about it in Fate Stay Night and everything else, but it's interesting to see different skills being used, like, and how they're applied. And real quick, I'll double back. Right when Hakuno got stabbed by Julius, he actually had, I guess, an internal monologue, I guess.
With Twice,
yes. And he goes over Death, and he's like, hey, this is what you really are. Like, you're
pretty much just nothing. You were just like a mass little bundle of hatred and misfortune by all the masters I killed so far.
Exactly.
And as soon as Seraph shut down, this little bundle just grew together and became, surprise, you.
And the line that stuck with me out of that is like, you were born to kill, and you live to die. And it's like, well, fuck.
Oh, that's just, damn it.
Yeah, and it's like, he, I guess Twice in this realm got what he wanted, but still thought like humanity wasn't worth it, so he just shut it all down.
That does make a lot of sense about what's going on in Seraph. So I guess he just puts like this little dome around it, and he's like, you know what, frick it.
Though I have a feeling it's more connected to that first episode again, but we won't know until the next episode comes out. But all in all, honestly, like, I know some people might be saying they're confused what's going on. I feel like they slowly are answering your questions. They're taking time and they're answering them. And yes, a lot of information, yes, exposition, but there's honestly no real way to explain the extra universe other than exposition, because it's so different compared to like the regular Stay Night series.
And what I actually know is that that's everything from the Fate series, from Stay Night to Zero to everything else, it all focuses on exposition, because these were based on light novels that you probably played before you even watched the anime.
Yeah.
And not a lot of people actually begin that way, so they're going to have to rely on that exposition to be up to date. And that goes to the same for those who haven't played the game itself. So that exposition is actually quite vital.
Right, exactly. So yeah, I know it might be rough, but Shaft is particularly good about delivering exposition in interesting ways. They always make it visually interesting for you. The one thing about Shaft in this anime is that they kind of make it a little confusing when you first watch it once, but when you watch an episode again, it actually makes a whole lot more sense of what happened, especially in episode 5. Right.
That battle with Dan Blackmore. I mean, you just see Hakuno just shoot him down, and you're like, whoa, okay, wait, hold back, rewind, what happened? But then you actually realize, after watching the previous episode in episode 4, that Ronnie had a little cube that can make decoys. So, I mean, I don't know if I'm supposed to say this, because everybody can figure it out for themselves, but should I say?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, so basically what happened is, after he saved Ronnie using the Dead Face ability, he borrows her little cube for a decoy to scout on the other side of the tower where he initially believed that Dan Blackmore was hiding. So that decoy went in and pretty much engaged the bombs, thus the explosion. But then soon after, he realizes that was a decoy, because you see the cube floating in air, and then from right behind him, you see Hakuno taking aim at him.
Right. And that's where it all makes sense there.
Exactly. So these episodes are definitely worth watching a second time, because if you do, then a lot of things make themselves, present to you that you haven't even realized before.
Right.
Like, a lot of people actually speculated that Rin, in some context, is a servant because she drank from the mono potion that she gave to Nero, which was completely different from the one she gave to Hakuno.
This is a master drink for health. So yeah, no, it's a lot of interesting things, guys. And, you know, this isn't a series that is actually particularly kind to those who watch once and then wait until the next week. I highly suggest just like kind of watching it, taking it in. And then even at the end, if you want, just wait till it's over and then watch it all. I bet you it'll flow a lot better, because I did that for Bakemonogatari. Like, I watched it all, and then it sunk. It got in. I was like, and then some episodes I had to, like, okay, let me rewatch that, because that was a lot of info.
Yeah, the Monogatari series was really confusing the first time you watch it.
Oh, yeah. And then once you get the hang of it, it's like, okay, I got it. But
yeah, just look past the head tilts, and it'll make a whole lot more sense.
Don't get distracted by the head tilts.
I mean, they're so extravagant. It's like they have a ball joint in their neck.
Shinji took full advantage of those head tilts.
Oh, hell yeah, he did.
I was like, geez,
he was just using the hell out of them.
Apparently, he was voiced by the same voice as Araragi.
Seriously?
Which is why he had all those head tilts. And I was like, that makes so much sense.
Okay, yeah, that really does. But even so, just because you have the power to head tilt does not warrant you as just a, how do I say it? A quicker death, you know?
Yeah. I mean,
I hate the character, and I do have a little bit of sympathy for him, as much as I hate to admit it, because given in Extra, he's, a kid and everything, but now he's a little more mellowed down, and the reason why he did this whole safe haven for Masters was because he had a little bit of death on his record, and he didn't want any more of it.
Yeah, so, I mean, think about it. For 1,000 years, you're killing people. After a while, you're like, okay, enough.
Yeah, I had enough.
Yeah, like, so that's what I was saying before. Like, his character really grown, and it's like the extra Shinji to me is a better Shinji than the original. Even though I get it, I've seen multiple times. Like, he couldn't help it. He was raised this way. And just like people levied arguments against Sakura about how she didn't have to control her fate, the same thing applies to Shinji too.
Exactly. So I mean, just saying, I really hate Shinji no matter what form he takes, but even so, that does not mean that I don't give him the chance to develop. And that's what I love about a character, is that they have development. And I actually seen that kind of development in Shinji in this extra anime.
He wasn't even there that long. It was just like, he was there technically for 3 episodes, and I got it. I'm like, man, that's good. You know what? Yeah. Like I get
just
you.
Like Hakuno said, he's like, you know what? I hate you a little less now.
Right, exactly. It felt like he was a mouthpiece for the entire community when he said that.
Pretty much.
But yeah, I mean, that about wraps it up. What do you guys think? Honestly, let us know in the comments below. Do you like it? Do you hate it? Are you gonna wait till it's all done? Do you think we're opinionated punks? I don't know. Let us know in the comments
Are there
below.
enough head tilts?
Oh yeah, do you need more head tilts?
There's always more room for head tilts.
Oh god.
All the head tilts!
But yeah, so we'll see you guys next week. Sloan may or may not be with us again, so if not, then it'll be me and Sippy again, or it might be another one of the gurus. If you want to see that, let us know. But until next time, I'm Musaki.
I'm Sippy.
Logging out.
Logging out.